Okay, I need a better opponent. We're going for the balanced AI, and we're playing Princess again. Okay. This will likely be a more challenging game. Interesting. But now your pawn is effectively pinned to your bishop. Yeah. That made more sense in my head, I'll be honest. Yeah. Well then. I think we put the bishop here. Put the princess behind the bishop. Okay, that was quite aggressive of you. Did create an open file on the king, which I don't appreciate, so we're closing that immediately. Now we castle to get our king to safety. I kind of think castling might be even more important in this game than it is in normal chess. I probably should move this bishop elsewhere. This should be fine. Okay, yeah, that was really dumb. Yeah, now my rook is trapped. But, yeah, no, that's just generally speaking bad, as it turns out. Now that we just get my other rook in a bad spot. Here. Oh, wow, you didn't take the rook. Thank you. Okay. I think this... Ah. Saw through my devious ploy. Well, I could put my knight there. Interesting. What if I get... Well, then you just take my knight, don't you? Okay, in that case, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this. Okay, great. Now, we threaten the rook and the knight simultaneously. Okay, great. Now we take your rook. Okay. Great. Now what? Good question, good question. We could check the king. Now the question is, to what end? Let's see what happens. Yeah, but we can take. Interesting play, interesting. Now what if I put my... Well, I can't do that. Can't check the king this turn and keep the princess safe, unfortunately. Well, I mean, I guess I could take the... Well, hold on. No, that's terrible. Who's even technically winning right now? I have no idea. Let's go back here. We'll threaten the pawn and get our princess kind of more so to safety. Okay, you've defended your pawn, but now you are pinned to your king. Okay, I need to find a way to break through. We can start by threatening your knight. Okay, knight moved. That's not shocking. Let's maybe double up the rooks. Ooh, you just took my pawn, didn't you? Not cool, not cool. Okay. Rooks are doubled. Yeah, okay. So if I take, then you take, and then I take, and then you take. So that's just generally speaking bad. What I might want to do here is move my princess in to be able to get in on the action. Now that of course unpins your... Right, there's a pawn there. This is not my best game. Oh, but your princess is no longer a factor. Can get checked. Okay, get checked. Great. Now get checked. Do we want to check him in the past somehow, ideally? So we move our princess here. Get checked. Right, you had a princess there. I'm gonna lose this. Badly. Yeah, there were a lot of bad mistakes there. Probably should slow down how fast I play. Timeline Tactician. That's an interesting opening. Let's put up... Well, actually, no, we need to put something on the other side. I'd come to think of the rook opening might be like the opening, so we will do it as well. Okay, good defense. Very clever. Because now I can't take this pawn, you see. If I moved slightly to the right, though, yeah, and moved this pawn forward, I'd say that's pretty good. Oh, you created a whole new timeline that I just lost? That is clever. That is very clever. Wow. Let's do a no queen world. Let's put a knight in that center and see how that goes. About as well as you'd expect. Because it's just going to be a series of my knight getting chased around the board. And, wow, my knight is already completely dead, so I might as well take something on the way out. Great. Okay. Could not have fathomed a worse opening, honestly. You couldn't have come up with one worse than that, I will say. Alright, we gotta get some pawns out here. That's a terrible way to do it, though. We'll do that. Okay, and then we do this. Great. Now we take your pawn. You took my pawn. But here's the thing, though. Have you considered that now I advance on that knight of yours and get taken by your knights? Yep. I need to stop making these moves so quickly. Well, you're threatened now. Back away. Back away. Okay, now your knights are pinned. And I'm about to castle. Boom. Get castled. Okay, didn't think that through very much because now your rook is under attack. Oh, am I in check? I am definitely in check. Well, that's what pawns are for, isn't it? Well, I'm in check again and I lost. And wow. Yeah. Standard. Alright, we're actually going to think about the moves this time. We're going to advance the queen's pawn. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, I think this would be the best response. Okay. Let's get the bishop out here. Really pushing the pawns on that side of the board, aren't you? I could put a knight here, threaten it. Okay, well that was predictable. But if we put a knight right there, defended by the pawn, that's pretty good. Okay, less good when the pawn, like, you know, tries to attack the knights, but yeah. I'm just not very good with these knights, am I? What if we, like, let's get this knight out of here. We'll just go to a new timeline. Say, right here. Boom. Have you ever seen developments like this? I mean, I guess I could just take you. Actually, I don't just take you. What I do is I, check you. Great. Now, I take you. What are you gonna do? Take with the rook? Oh, no, you took with the knight. That's much more sensible. Great. Great. Now what? Good question. Good question. Wonderful question. Great inquiry. Well, let's see what's going on up here. Yeah, you're getting the queen involved. I'd prefer if you didn't, but, well, that's not the world we live in anymore, is it? I guess I'll castle. Over here, let's push this pawn forward, create an attack with the bishop. Okay, so he took the pawn and made a universe where that pawn traveled through time to take the queen. And I do have to say that is actually pretty clever. Now I could just take your knights, which I think I'll do, because you're not going to take back. Because you lost. Because I'm checking that king. And over here, I'm checking that king. And now I'm also checking that king. Okay. Well then. I suppose that went quite well. You know, the thing with 5D chess is once you get your king out in the open, you're dead. You're done. You're finished. Let's push this pawn forward. Now, since we are exposing the king early on, I've got to defend that. We'll defend with this. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, though, since we're exposing the king early on, our, like, #1 priority has to be castling, like, as soon as possible. Okay. We can take a... Well, we don't want to take the pawn, but we can, like, go here before we castle. And now we've castled. Great. What? Yeah, I left that opening available way too long, didn't I? One more time. Okay, so the moral of the story is never push the king pawn forward. Ever. I I feel like there's got to be something clever I can do to punish putting the queen out this early. And I could, like, take the pawn, but then what? Then the queen takes, and then I've got nothing, really. I think what you do is you fianchetto the bishop. Okay. Well, you can't move the pawn. You can reinforce, though, so this might have been ill-advised. We'll see. We can push this pawn forward. Okay, but I take your pawn is the thing, and now your queen is under threat. But you moved your queen, but, like... Okay, I guess if I take your queen here, you'll take with the bishop, which isn't ideal, but there's gotta be something clever to do here. Oh, wait a minute, but I take your queen. If you take with the bishop, then I take this pawn now. And now your rook is just doomed. There you go. I do need to get this king, like, anywhere else. Anywhere else right now. Luckily, the queen is off the board, which means there's probably... The queens are off the board, rather. So there's going to be less likelihood of, like, crazy checks going on. Do I care? Yes, I do care very much. Because I don't want... Like, if this pawn were to move, then my rook is just dead. Also, I should probably, like, do that. Okay, that's predictable. We can get this knight out, reinforce the other one. Okay, rook for knight. Unconventional trade, but sure, I'll take it. Oh, and this pawn was... Or, not pawn, bishop was defending anyway. Huh. Okay, well then. And castled. There we go. That's all I wanted. All I want for Christmas is to castle my king. Okay. Well, now what? Gonna want to break in somehow. I think we start that process by putting a knight right here. Okay, that works fine for me. I would like to move this rook right here. That way when we move the bishop... Okay, that's annoying, but we'll survive. We are, however, going to move this king out, like, immediately. Okay, great. Oh, now I just take your knights, because it's no longer defended by the king. Pivot this bishop around to target this pawn. Oh, we got some time travel shenanigans, do we? What's this? A check? How dare you? I'll move out of the way. Okay. So this timeline is a bit more beneficial to our opponents, I suppose, technically speaking. Now here's a question. What if I put this bishop right here, made a whole new timeline, where I've checked your king that way? Eh? How about it? Eh, you block with the knight. Interesting. Interesting. Now here's a question. What now? Well, this bishop is going to be a real problem for you pretty soon, so we're going to take that knight and check you. Okay. This bishop should be a real problem for you pretty soon, I'd imagine. As will this one. We should get the king to safety. Additionally... Wait, what's going on? No, I don't want to make a move there. I need to make a move on this board. Okay, great question. What do? We just take your bishop. Yeah. Okay, now you've gone back in time, took that bishop with your knight. An interesting play, I'll give you that. However, here's the thing. I take your knights, then I take your bishop. How about that? That seems like a decent exchange to me. Great, now I take your bishop. And I've won. Where did I win? I won right here, because this bishop was just checking everyone. By everyone, I mean like two distinct kings. I told you that bishop would be a problem.